My fiancée and her parents disrespected and made fun of my late mother in front of her whole family, so I called off the wedding, immediately right in front of everyone. My mom passed away when I was 16 from cancer. She fought for 3 years, and even when she was sick, she made sure I had everything I needed for school. She worked up until 2 months before she died because she wanted to save money for my college fund. I met Jessica 4 years ago at a coffee shop. She seemed perfect at first. Smart, funny, always knew what to say. We got engaged last Christmas, and I was honestly excited to start a life with her. But there were small things that bothered me, like how she changed the subject whenever I brought up my mom, or how she never wanted to visit my mom's grave with me on her birthday. Jessica always had an excuse. She was busy, she had a headache, she didn't do well with emotional stuff. I let it slide because I figured grief made people uncomfortable. Her parents, Linda and Frank, were wealthy. Like country club, vacation home in Florida kind of wealthy. They made it very clear from day one that they thought Jessica was settling by marrying me. I'm a high school teacher. I make decent money, but nothing compared to what they were used to. Frank would make jokes about how I'd probably want a prenup to protect my Honda Civic. Linda would ask Jessica in front of me if she was sure about this decision, but Jessica always defended me, so I thought we were solid. Last weekend was the rehearsal dinner at Linda and Frank's house. Huge place, probably 30 people there. Jessica's whole extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. They'd rented a tent in the backyard and hired caterers. It was fancy. Way fancier than anything I was used to. During dinner, Linda stood up to give a speech. She talked about how proud she was of Jessica, how beautiful she looked, how excited they were for the wedding. Then she said, "And we're so glad Jessica found someone who makes her happy, even if he comes from humble beginnings." The whole table got quiet. I felt my face get hot, but I didn't say anything. Then Frank chimed in. He raised his glass and said, "Here's to my future son-in-law. Hopefully Jessica's success will rub off on him." A few people laughed nervously. Jessica squeezed my hand under the table, but she didn't say anything to defend me. The comments kept coming throughout dinner. Little digs about my job, my car, my apartment. Frank made a joke about how I probably didn't know which fork to use. Linda asked if my family was coming to the wedding, knowing full well my mom was dead and my dad left when I was a kid. I told her it would just be some friends and my aunt. She made this fake sad face and said, "Oh, that's right, your mother passed. That must have been so hard growing up without proper guidance." My jaw clenched, but I stayed quiet. Then Jessica's cousin Ashley, who'd had too much wine, decided to join in. She looked right at me and said, "Didn't your mom work at a grocery store or something?" Jessica had told her family about my mom's job. I said yes, she was a cashier. She worked 2 jobs to support us. Ashley laughed and said, "Well, at least she tried, I guess." That's when Linda added, "It's just such a different world, you know? We've always been able to provide Jessica with the best of everything. Private schools, tutors, travel. It must be quite an adjustment for you coming from that kind of background." Frank nodded and said, "I mean, what did your mother even leave you? Hopefully some good life lessons at least." The table got dead silent. A few people looked uncomfortable, but nobody said anything. Jessica was staring at her plate. I looked at her, waiting for her to say something, anything. She didn't. That's when Frank said the thing that ended it all. He chuckled and said, "I just hope our grandkids don't inherit the poor person genes. We'd hate for them to end up working retail like grandma." He said it like it was a joke. A few people at the table actually laughed. Linda was smiling. And Jessica, my fiancée, the woman I was supposed to marry in 6 days, just sat there. She didn't defend my mom, didn't defend me, just sat there like it was fine. I stood up so fast my chair fell backwards. The entire tent went silent. I looked at Frank and said, "My mother worked 60 hours a week to make sure I had food and clothes and school supplies. She went to every parent-teacher conference even when she was exhausted. She taught me to be kind and work hard and treat people with respect. Something you clearly never learned despite all your money." Then I turned to Linda. "And my mom left me something more valuable than anything you could buy. She left me the ability to recognize when people are trash no matter how expensive their house is." I took off my ring and put it on the table in front of Jessica. She looked up at me with tears in her eyes and whispered, "Please don't do this." But I was done. I looked at her and said, "You sat there and let them disrespect the woman who raised me, the woman who died trying to give me a better life. If you can't defend her memory, you're not the person I thought you were." I walked out of that tent and drove straight home. Jessica called 47 times that night. Her parents tried to apologize through text saying it was just jokes and I was being too sensitive, but I blocked all of them. The wedding got canceled. I lost the deposit on the venue, but I don't care. My mom deserved better than that, and so did I.